So hello everyone, great to see you here. Let us start today's event, and today my name is Rolands, and my business partner Andrejs, we will talk about marketing and sales in automation for B2B companies specifically. And why this is important, I think one of the reasons why it's super important to talk about marketing and sales technologies is because we see already today from data that companies are spending more on marketing technologies than they are paying in salaries to their marketing personnel. And I think this clearly reflects a trend that human together with technology can do much more than humans can do alone. And technology is actually allowed to superpower your marketing and your sales personnel, increase productivity, increase output, and actually get much more done. What we are going to talk about today. So we will start with discussing a bit how B2B buyers are buying today, because that sets kind of a groundwork which will help to understand what actually is there to automate. Then we will look briefly at how typical B2B marketing campaign looks today. What are the assets, what's the logics, and again, what's there to automate. Then we will look at more details at what marketing automation is today and what exactly it does. We will also look at a few examples. After that, we will discuss briefly, because we usually in this kind of events, we get questions, which is better marketing automation? Is it Hubspot? Is it ActiveCampaign? Is it MailChimp or something else? So we will try to answer this question and provide both information from market and also a bit talk about our own experience. And then we will end up with sharing some key considerations when you are thinking about how to implement marketing automation and what actually to start with.
And before we move forward, I think what would be really nice if we could get some insights on the audience joining us today. And for that reason, you now can see probably the poll popping up on your screens. And the simple question, what we would like to understand is how familiar you are with the marketing automation. Because this webinar we initially prepared for those who are just in the beginning of their journey to the marketing automation. That is why it's called Introduction to the Marketing and Sales Automation. But nevertheless, we understood that there are different experienced people joining, and that is why I would appreciate if you could just take this very short survey and let us know what is your experience so far. So nevertheless, as Roland said, we will go through the set of topics today. And first of them is about just understanding the fundamental part of the marketing and sales, modern marketing and sales. And that's called a buyer journey. And buyer journey concept is very important, because if you are not really following this model, you may face situation where you are actually becoming very irrelevant to your audience. And how it is happening is that, first of all, in today's world, when there are a lot of digital channels available to the us as a buyers, and in the B2B space, the same happens. So people are taking lead on the actually sales process instead of waiting while they will be approached by the sales personnel and with some sales pitch. Now they are going into the digital channels and start to discover solutions for their needs, for their problems. But what is important also to understand is that the very first step in this buyer journey is to understand whether there is a problem or whether there is an opportunity. And that is very initial step in this process. And the next one is that when somebody has understood that there is an opportunity or there is a problem to be solved, they start to get interested into how to do that. So they are looking around, they are turning to different experts, to different interest groups, to different other sources of information, trying to find a solution for their needs and their problems. And only then, when they understood what are the possible options for them, they start to really evaluate different vendors and different tools and different solutions. And if you understand this concept, you can accordingly plan your marketing activities. And that's another very important aspect of this buyer journey concept, is that if you look from the total market opportunity perspective, typically those who are currently in the active discovery phase, where they are really looking for very specific solution and ready to buy, ready to have a sales conversation, this is a minority. Typically, they are from maybe 5 to 10% of the total market population, while the most of your growth opportunity sits among those who are either have not realized that they have a problem or opportunity, or they are just passively or more actively looking for a different type of solutions and trying to understand how to actually solve these problems. And on different stages of this customer journey, there are different type of content is needed, and that is what actually our target audience is looking for. They are turning to either blogs or ebooks, white papers. They also joining webinars. They are, watching different videos, reading case studies. They do comparisons. They do attend the demonstrations and many other things. And why we are telling this to you guys? Because that is where the marketing automation actually comes into the game. Because this journey, we just showed you a very simplified picture of this. But in reality, it's much more complex. And in the B2B space, it's even more difficult to navigate through this process. And as you can see, an illustration by Gartner, that is how the typical B2B buyer journey looks like. And it's also not very kind of linear process where people are just moving forward and that's it. They're actually moving back and forth from one to another stage. They are moving like left and right, and so on and so forth. And if you are, as a B2B marketeer, aiming to really engage your audience and help them navigate through this process, it's very hard to realize without really automated process, which would also facilitate this journey. And what is also important is that it's a long-term process. It's a long run. And therefore, it requires you to be systematic in your communication approach. You have to plan your activities to be interconnected and helping your audience moving from one stage of the buyer journey to another stage of the buyer journey.
Yes, and actually, let me also talk a bit, to give a couple of words about the importance of nurturing. You see, in business-to-business market, for deal or for transaction to happen, you really need to build awareness, and you need to build trust, and you need to build what's quite often referred as mental availability. And the way buyers' psychology work is that people tend to evaluate information that they have seen more frequently and more recently as more important. So this is very, very important to keep on nurturing your relationship and providing your prospects with small bit-sized information regularly, because that's really something that drives trust, loyalty, and mental awareness. A good example is TV hosts. Right, these are people which audience sees every day reading news, and seemingly they do nothing else than just read news. But over time, they build very high popularity and indeed trust among the audience. And the same applies to B2B business. Actually, you need to provide small bite-sized information very, very regularly to build awareness and to build trust.
And as a result, you have to really think of this buyer journey as a connected set of activities, which helps really your audience move from the awareness stage to the consideration stage. And again, on the screen, you see a very simplified picture of this buyer journey, but where we see that there are channels where you basically engage with your potential audience. Then you have some content which can be gated or ungated. And then this process needs to be managed and facilitated, as I already mentioned. And that is actually what, again, marketing automation can help you doing at a large scale. And when we look from the typical campaign perspective, we are talking about the inbound campaign mostly, then those typical elements, what you see in these campaigns or need to have, are obviously some social media content like ads, or maybe just infographics or any other type of content which drives audience interest and engagement. And then landing pages which are dedicated to the specific objectives. And in this case, typically these objectives are related to selling this piece of content or selling the some offer or anything else to the audience, where actually the real conversion happens from the unknown contact to the known prospect. And then obviously you have some content what you need to deliver to your audience. It can be in form of the white paper, it can be in form of the ebooks or video or assessment, and many others. We also see that as part of this, you have to plan also some series of your nurturing communication. So where you send out emails to people who started the journey, to again provide them more information, to develop their interest and drive them to the next phase of the buyer journey. And last but not least, piece of these campaign elements are related to the analytics and insights. And without that, it's very hard really to achieve any significant impact from your activities. Therefore, you have to really consider having a comprehensive reports and dashboards, which allows you at glance see what is actually happening with your campaigns, how the funnel looks like, how other very important KPIs looks like, to be able to take very quick decisions on how to optimize and how to improve your customer journey and the campaign more specifically. And to implement all these elements, typically marketeers, and we are speaking here about like small and mid-sized companies, they have to consider having a set of tools, set of technologies, or martech stack, as we call it, right? Which consists of at least those elements, what you can see on the screen. As a fundamental for everything, we see the CRM system, right? Where all your leads ending up, where you actually plan and execute your sales activities, qualification activities, and so on and so forth. Secondly, it's a layer of content management system and marketing automation. Sometimes both or marketing automation also can provide you with CMS capabilities, but it's not always the case. Nevertheless, CMS is very important for really having optimized experience for your web visitors, like in form of landing pages, as I already mentioned, for both like gated and ungated content providing, and so on and so forth. And marketing automation we will be discussing moving forward. And then on top of that, you also have to think how you will be able to really get insights about your audience. And audience can be, as I already mentioned a few times, somebody you already know. So people who are in your CRM and you can see what is happening with them, whether they are engaging with your website, with your content, with your maybe sales representatives, with your demos, videos, and everything else. And secondly, this is an intelligence about the audience which is unknown to you. So those who are visiting your website, and then you would like to understand what are they are interested in, what are their behaviors, and how you can actually optimize this experience and convert this experience into these leads. And then, of course, there is analytics and dashboards or different tools, or this is one single tool, whatever you prefer, which helps you really to gather data about what is happening across all the destinations what you have for your audience, right? Would it be a website? Would it be a social media? Or would it be your YouTube channel or anything like that? So you would really like to have all this data in one place and be available, as I already illustrated, as part of your dashboards, where you can quickly see how your marketing actually is performing. And then you have to consider also having some sales enablement tools. And those tools typically are meant for the pre-sales personnel, or maybe more senior people who actually can use them to automate their sales activities, for reaching out your prospects, planning calls, sharing some demos, and many other things, right? And today our discussion will be mainly around the marketing automation and those scenarios related to that. And why then the marketing automation is needed? And we started with that in order to really provide this interconnected experience for your audience, it's very hard to accomplish by doing your marketing manually. But more importantly, if you are looking for growing your business, you need to scale, and you need to go after broader audience, after multiple channels where you engage with them, and so on and so forth. And there is very simple mathematics behind the need for marketing automation. As you can see from this screen, that first of all, when you plan your sales and marketing pipeline, you define what you want to achieve. So, for instance, you would like to have, I don't know, maybe 28, as in this example, deals closed within 6 months or so. So, in order to do that, you have to calculate back. What does it mean in terms of your, again, sales and marketing pipeline? How that would look like from top of the funnel, from the mid of the funnel perspective, and so on. And when you calculate that, you will immediately realize that in order to achieve maybe not very significant number of deals, you still need to work with quite a significant audience and generate quite a significant number of top of the funnel leads in order to deliver this result. So therefore, the marketing automation helps you really achieve the scalability and increase efficiency of your work, both on the marketing and sales. Secondly, it also helps you to improve the lead management and marketing and sales alignment, because you have one single platform, one single tool, which actually provides you full information on what is happening and how leads are moving from one stage to another, and how we can improve this experience. Then another very significant advantage of the marketing automation is a better way of doing micro-segmentation and personalization. And that is increasingly important because as competition is becoming, more stronger among market players, right? Whatever industry you take, everyone now wants to engage with their audience, runs different campaigns and activities. So you really need to be providing like very personalized and very appealing content and experience to your audience, to keep them engaged, to keep them interested, and to develop their trust as well. And that is what marketing automation is meant for as well. And we will look to some examples for that a bit later. And the last but not least, as I already mentioned, having this in one system and having it as a transparent funnel, you immediately can be sure about the performance of your activities and take quick decisions of changing that in order to increase your ROI from marketing and sales investments. So what then marketing automation is actually about? And according to different definitions, if you search for the marketing automation, on Google or Bing or any other platform, you will see a lot of different definitions, but all of them more or less are about the same. So marketing automation is a set of tools that provides ability to automate and scale marketing and sales tasks, processes, which includes things like content registration, profiling, segmentation, as I already mentioned, like personalization of the communication through the email and other channels like SMS and web messaging, chats, and many others, right? It also helps you to automate the content delivery and also set up different conditions for your campaigns so that they can, in automated manner, provide this personalized experience to your audience based on their profiles, based on their segments, and things like that. It also helps you to understand the behavior of your audience and actually spot those who are really demonstrating high intent by their behavior for your product or for your solution or services, right? It's also the tool which helps you to make your communication process with your sales team more automated, more efficient, as they are getting at the right time right information about the most mature and most ready contacts so that they can quickly engage with them and not spending time on other less valuable activities. And then, as I already mentioned, that is also the tool which helps you to measure what is happening within your marketing funnel. And when it comes to the very kind of specific examples of this marketing automation, let's look at those following 3 examples just to illustrate how marketing automation can be used by marketing and sales teams within B2B organizations. And of course, those are just a few examples, and there are much more way of using marketing automation in the B2B space. And first of all, let's imagine the situation that you have a website, right? And you would like actually to capture leads from your website, people who are visiting and maybe, they are getting interested in your service. And what we see that there is a very kind of frustrating experience in still many, many cases where you visit the web page and then you see that, yay, there is a contact form, which is basically says nothing. It's just a form with a lot of maybe fields and without clear, really kind of experience what will be next and what will be I'm getting as a visitor, right? And with help of marketing automation, you can really modernize this experience, and more importantly, you can also automate a lot of work and eliminate a lot of effort what you otherwise would spend for just processing those regular form submissions from your website. Imagine that there are people who are really interested and who may be a good candidate for your business, right, or for your service. But similarly, and I'm sure that you have experienced that there are a lot of people who are signing up and they have no real interest, or they are maybe from a completely different market segment that you are aiming. And you still need to process them, you still need to spend time evaluating them, and maybe even contacting, and only when you contact them you realize that this is actually not my ideal customer, and so on and so forth. And this marketing automation, if you set it up in this way, as on illustration, that you have a form which actually profiles this visitor according to your ideal customer profile criteria. So you're collecting really unnecessary data in order to determine whether this is a good client for you or not. But secondly, you're also collecting the data which helps you to segment this potential client and provide them, again, a very personalized experience. And then, as soon as this form has been submitted, also this person receives a notification which automatically goes out in the nice template, and then it also clearly communicates next steps and what to expect. And moreover, what you can do, you can also immediately evaluate based on the information what this person has provided, like whether this person actually is scoring against my ideal customer profile criteria. And if it happens, then you can provide them a very direct experience to the, for instance, scheduling a call with you. So a next step can be creating a deal that automatically in your CRM. So again, you can afterwards easily track all the, those prospects or leads and understand what has happened with them. You can assign it to your sales representatives, but you also can use tools like Calendly or any other for the call scheduling, and share immediately the link to your calendar, so that the person who actually signed up can immediately see available slots and then select what is most suitable for him or for her. And again, here you provide a great experience to your lead. On the other hand, you offload your salespeople for doing these manual tasks. You are sending a notification to the salesperson who is the owner of this deal in the CRM, and so he knows or she knows that there is a lead who actually have booked a call, and then they connect and have a conversation. And that is, again, one of these super simple examples, but very, very valuable and very usable for both sides, like your visitors and leads, but also for your sales team. The next one, what we will talk through is related to the content delivery. And again, you run a campaign and you have a gated content. So let's say an ebook, right? So there is a web page or landing page, whatever you use. Either you use your content management system, which allows you to also publish the landing pages, or you maybe use it out of the marketing automation platform as a separate tool. It doesn't matter really, but what is important is that this is a landing page which specifically designed to sell this piece of content, right? And when somebody is visiting this landing page, again, they can register for that. You can immediately score them and segment. So whether this is like a segment A, B, or C, or any other, because you might have a different or customized content by those different industries, customer types, or anything like that. So again, this is a unique opportunity for you to become very relevant by providing this unique experience based on the customer profile. Secondly, you can immediately decide putting them into the nurturing stream. And in this case, again, we see in this example that we have a deal automatically created, if that is, again, the segment what you are aiming for. The next one is that after this content, we would like them to, start going through some nurturing campaign, which is aimed to develop this interest further and to provide some additional content, to provide some activities what will again lead them into more interest about your services or your product. That's the one part of your marketing journey, right? Marketing funnel. Another one is that you can also automate the process of creating, for instance, a retargeting or remarketing audience on different channels like Facebook or Google or LinkedIn. And that is, again, some marketing and most of marketing automation platforms allows you doing this manually. So this contact, the same contact, being uploaded into in this example, Facebook custom audience, and then it start to see also your remarketing advertisement. And that is, again, the way how you can maximize this number of touch points and engagements with your audience. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A window to ask your questions. And so the next example, what I would like to mention quickly is related to these nurturing activities, right? When you have generated leads, they came into your pipeline. The next would be, of course, to develop this interest. And again, if you do it manually, it's hard to imagine how you really can do it in this disciplined manner with hundreds, if not thousands, of your contacts, right? And marketing automation can do it perfectly for you. So if you design a workflow, which is again based on the customer segment, can provide the systematic delivery of different type of contents, that is how you can achieve this without involving your marketing or other specialists. And it can be set of emails with some content within these emails related to your products or services. You can, moreover, also track how this content has been consumed, whether your audience has been engaging with this content, where they were following those links, or maybe using some other tools what you provide as part of your content, maybe watching videos. And based on that, you can also track and score the engagement and build the list of those contacts which really are demonstrating a right behavior, high intent behavior, and based on that, inform your sales team and focus their efforts on those contacts which demonstrated this right behavior. It also can be including activities for instance, updating the stage of your pipeline, eliminating the manual work for that. So for instance, if somebody has just signed up for the ebook, right, and it's just the beginning of their buyer journey, they got interested in what you are telling them, and with help of the nurturing stream, you can provide them some other content, like for instance, a recording of the webinar. So you see that they actually followed the link and they watched this webinar almost till the end. Then as a next step, you provide them some case studies, what they possibly also consumed. They followed the link, they looked through your website. And then also what you have identified is that they have visited your product page several times. And all that together gives you a good set of insights to determine whether this is a good time to engage with them. And that's exactly what marketing automation is designed for, to help you identify these contacts from all your audience and bring them to the hands of your salespeople so that they immediately can reach out to this audience and have a sales conversation at the right time. But these are just few examples to illustrate what marketing automation is capable of, and there are much more what it can do for you and for your organization. Just to mention just few of these other examples. First of all, it's a webinar or event workflows. Like, for instance, when you registered for our event, you probably also received notifications and reminders from us. So the same, it can be done for your events. And if you are running multiple events, it's also like very handy, because you can then reduce number of hours you are spending on following up and creating different emails and sending them out. And I still know companies who are actually doing that manually, and it's just simply not efficient, right? Another one is about running any different, like outbound campaigns for instance, collecting a feedback or maybe NPS score surveys or anything like that, right? And again, we know that it's not as simple as we can imagine, that, hey, you send one email and then everyone replies to that. If you really are interested in getting feedback, you need to have multiple communication waves. You also need to be sure that you are not spamming those who actually already replied to that, and so on and so forth. So again, it's related to the customer experience. It's related also to how you are perceived among your customers. Then it also can help you run upsell and cross-sell campaigns based on the segmentation. If you have properly done your pipeline, if you have properly done your segmentation, you can automate even this. So if, for instance, somebody had signed up for the product A, and then you see they are using it for 6 months, and they are maybe growing, and they are reaching some certain threshold in usage of your product, then there can be an automated triggered campaign for providing them some special offer for upgrade, or maybe some other scenarios, and so on and so forth. There are very often what we see is onboarding campaigns or onboarding experience is not perfect, right? Especially for early startups and companies who are just starting entering the service or SaaS business. And again, with help of marketing automation, you can nicely design this onboarding process and make sure that everyone who signed up for your services or product is getting really an excellent experience for your company and with your company and with your services. Moreover, it's only a beginning when somebody signs up. You also need to think of how to activate people for using your tools and services for those whom it is relevant, right? And for that reason, you can plan also some usage activation campaigns, like, for instance, providing regular tips and tricks, providing some trainings, and tracking, again, the behavior of your users, and see if those who are maybe not actively using that, you are getting them into the more frequent communication and more advanced trainings, and so on and so forth. And many other, as you can read on the screen, scenarios can be implemented, both for automating your marketing activities, but also sales things like pipeline update, like task for your employees, and so on and so forth. And What is also a very big advantage of the marketing automation, I mentioned it in the beginning and during those examples, is that marketing automation can help you really do a lead scoring along the journey. And that's a perfect way how to avoid spending your time on low value leads, and also to provide an excellent experience to those who really are valuable for your company. And typically, in order to do that, you need to do some like homework, right? And first of all, it's about understanding and defining ideal customer profile criteria, and that is typically related to the demographics, like things like a job role, company size, maybe revenue. It depends on what business you are, and all these criteria is something what you, I'm sure, have defined already, but they can be used for your forms when you register people for the content or anything like that. And secondly, there is an intent behavior, what you can measure, what I already explained just a few minutes back, when we can see whether people have engaged with our content, like opening emails, clicking on those links, maybe forwarding those messages, visiting web pages, maybe downloading something, maybe watching the demos or anything like that, and putting it all together. So when you understand what type of behavior indicates this intent for your product, so then that's where you can see from all the hundreds of leads what you are generating, who are most engaged and whom you need to engage for the sales conversation at this moment, at this time. And in order to understand how it works, let me show you a couple of illustrations again. So you can define, and we will look at an example in a minute on how you can define the scoring. But basically, for every activity, you can what your kind of contact has performed, you can assign certain points, right? Both positive and negatives, because there can be also a negative behavior, right? So, like for instance, somebody who is, I don't know, maybe unsubscribed from your email list, or maybe they have not really wrong, but not right industry, or maybe not right job title, or maybe they're, I don't know, just interested in more educational type of content, and so on and so forth. Nevertheless, so that's the system what you define, right? How do you determine what is the right behavior and what is not right behavior for you, for your business? And then all these activities, they are visible in your CRM, in your marketing automation. And that's also a very good set of insights what your salespeople can use during driving the conversation with your leads, during having follow-up calls and referring, actually, hey, we've seen that you have been doing that and that, or maybe not mentioning directly, but at least knowing that there was such an interest about, for instance, certain topic in your blog post, or maybe visiting a particular solution page. Then you can immediately turn your conversation into the most relevant direction for this particular contact, because then you see from this information what this person actually is interested about, and use that for really having a very focused conversation. And in order to implement that, you need to define your lead scoring model, right? There are different examples what you probably will find on the web, but in general, as I already mentioned, you have two main blocks of criteria. One are related to the demographics. So this is something what you believe is important for you based on the information what you are collecting. So for instance, whether a person has provided a work email or just regular personal email, whether they provided a phone number, whether they have a right job title, which is actually is the matching your targeted audience job title, whether they are coming from the right industry, whether this is the right size of the company by number of employees or anything like that, or maybe you can extend this list to any other criteria what you believe are important for you in order to evaluate and assess this lead quality. And on the other hand, you need to think of defining the scores for different activities, like what are the most valuable activities, what are the least valuable activities, which actually can really show interest and right intent from your contacts. And then the marketing automation actually do the rest. So it actually track all these activities and calculate, and then it indicates you when the certain threshold is reached. So for instance, you can define that there is a certain threshold in order to qualify the contact in general, right? Everyone who signs up and then they reach certain point, like here in example 35, it will be automatically qualified to the next stage, right? And it will be also updated in the pipeline. All the rest will be automatically, for instance, disqualified. And again, you eliminate a lot of manual work by that. But then also you can see who of them has been engaging with your content, and that is already a marketing qualified lead, and that from this stage you can pass it automatically to your SDR team for the follow-up, for the further research and anything what you believe is needed to be done at this stage, and so on and so forth. So this is a very, very valuable capability of the marketing automation to eliminate a lot of manual work, but also to make your sales team focused 100% on the right contacts and the high value leads. And in the end of the day, you will have a pipeline which consists of those different stages. It can look differently in your business, but in general, these are typically, starting from, very, very first stage, which is maybe just leads, then marketing qualified, and so on and so forth. And that also helps you to reach a better cooperation between sales and marketing, because making it implemented with help of marketing automation also eliminate a lot of disalignment, and everyone clearly see where are those leads and keep accountable each other and have a transparent conversation on the effectiveness of your activities and plan together how we can improve that. Typically, marketing is responsible for the top of the funnel and some mid of the funnel activities, right? While sales would like to get involved into activities which are already with leads who have been qualified and went through this qualification process, and they want to be sure actually that if they spend time talking to these people and doing some activities with them, that it will be a high value lead and high value outcome, and that is where you can really implement it with help of marketing automation by structuring your pipeline according to these internal roles and responsibilities, what you discussed with them and agreed. And then you are getting into the phase where you would like to assess it, right, and see how exactly all your activities are working and what are they bringing to you as a company. And the same you would like to communicate to all other stakeholders. And that is where the data and dashboards can help you achieving this. And you see currently on the screen an example of one of these dashboards, what we typically use in our projects, where we consolidate data from both like media, website, but also from the marketing automation in particular, where we can see how the funnel looks like, how the pipeline look like, and many other data, what can be easily discussed and easily used for the quick decision process and optimization of your both marketing and sales efforts. So, Roland, would you like to cover the implementation process?
Sure. And look, if you look at implementation of marketing and sales automation, you should consider it in a sense as a software project, because it quite quickly becomes very complicated, right? And you should start with clear objectives and certain KPIs, basically have a clear understanding of what are the business results or indicators that you want to achieve. And one of the first things to do would actually to really think about your go-to-market strategy and design your customer journey. Think of what kind of content, what kind of activities, on which channels would your buyers engage in their customer journey, and try to build automation, content, everything around that. Basically, your objective should be to make it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible for buyers to research, understand your product, and ultimately buy, right? And then you need to think about architecture of automation. What would be the main workflows? What are supporting workflows? How, for example, you will turn automation data into marketing pipeline? Under which criteria? How the scoring engine would work, and so on. And then, of course, you need to develop email templates and actually texts for emails. This could be different things like reminders to join a webinar, sending out, let's say, case studies, white papers, or simply regularly reminding about yourselves by sending newsletters or blogs, and so on. And then probably you also need to think about third-party applications and integrations, because marketing automation in a sense is a kind of central nervous system of marketing, and you can very easily plug in data from other systems, starting from CRM to, let's say, webinar platform, online assessment platform, and many other tools. So today, basically, unless you're using Hubspot, which kind of covers almost it all, you're building your marketing stack by integrating different systems together. And then you basically configure your workflows and test and launch and monitor, basically. And our experience shows that actually you cannot really set up automation and totally forget it. You need to check it regularly, because particularly if it involves some kind of integration with third-party applications, there may be some issues. So you need to keep on monitoring how well it works. And here on the right side of slide is basically a schematics of how to think about automation and how to set it up. It may seem quite complicated, but my advice would be to start really with small first steps and do small automations first before you proceed to making something really big. Start by things like automating booking a call, scheduling demo, webinar automations, and simple things like that.
Yes. So, and now as we're approaching like the end of our story for today, obvious question is, but how to choose and what to choose? And of course, there are like plenty. There are like tons of different tools, and there, every day you are getting information that there is something new and something innovative. And of course, with the rise of AI, you can see that those tools becomes even more smarter and more advanced. But nevertheless, so one way of looking this, and I just here provide to your attention like a screenshot of the G2 let's say, summary or report about the B2B related marketing automation tools, specifically for small and mid-sized companies, right? And I would say that if you look, that today's the same picture like even a year ago, you would see that these vendors were spread all across this quadrant. But now we see that most of them are in the leaders quadrant with some differences. Some of them are in the niche market, some of them are more commodity market, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, excuse me, we can see that there are three particular leaders, like top leaders in the top quadrant, and those are Hubspot, ActiveCampaign, and mailchimp. And mailchimp has been known for ages. Probably most of marketeers know it too for these email marketing capabilities. And I have to say also that, many people still think that the email marketing is the same as a marketing automation. And I hope that what we shared with you today made you think differently if you thought this before, because actually the email marketing is just a part of the marketing automation, but not necessarily it is the same. And I would recommend looking, of course, to many of these tools and evaluate what works best for you. But just for sake of staying focused, we decided to evaluate those three particular tools, and that is also why that is also because we particularly last 6 years working with the Hubspot and ActiveCampaign very actively. We have hundreds of projects done with these platforms. We know them pretty well. And let us just share some summary. Again, it's our subjective assessment. Don't take it as a sophisticated scientific research based. It's our experience based, right, from those projects what we have done. And again, those tools, they are moving forward. They are developing new capabilities, and probably there is already something new within these platforms. But if you ask me, like how you would evaluate, this is my assessment on this. And what we are looking at are following things. First of all, for which type of company this tool is primarily designed for. And Hubspot, as Roland mentioned, and probably everyone knows that, it's a tool which is considered like as a gold standard almost, right? On the other hand, it's also the tool which originally designed for the larger companies, and it's not just because of that you should not using that, but obviously all the capabilities and the pricing, the cost model is designed to serve these type of customers. However, I was positively surprised, and that is probably what Hubspot has changed recently, is that there is very affordable packages available from them for the small companies. And as you can see, the price tag starts now from the 40 euro per month for 2 user licenses, and you are getting like CRM capabilities. But honestly speaking, all the rest of the capabilities are less advanced than in the full version of Hubspot, but still, for the beginning, it might be enough, right? The next one is an ActiveCampaign, and as I mentioned, we have been working with ActiveCampaign since our first days, and it's already 6 years, and we have landed hundreds of projects with them. And this is pretty reliable platform. Of course, as any software vendor, it has some advantages and disadvantages, and they also updating this product on continuous basis. And the difference with the Hubspot is the following, that if in Hubspot you have everything preset for you, it's already like pre-configured in most of cases. There are a lot of kind of templates and tools which you just can start using out of the box. While the ActiveCampaign gives you much more flexibility. It's really like a like a Lego, right? Where you can create whatever is needed. They have a lot of integration with third-party tools, and that gives you really, a lot of space for creativity. But same time, it requires much more knowledge, much more process, a third process for, as Roland said, designing the architecture of the system and building a proper, taxonomy and proper tagging and everything else. But otherwise, it's really very flexible and very powerful tool for small and mid-sized companies specifically. They have changed their pricing model originally, and there is still available. I think the cheapest version of ActiveCampaign starts with something around $20 per month. But if you are looking for more or less powerful solution with both marketing and sales automation capabilities, then you have to plan a budget of from 100 to 150 euro per month for that platform. On the other hand, we have also MailChimp. As I said, this is the platform what has been on the market probably from the very beginning of the email marketing as such, and it has evolved significantly. But what I see that for the B2B scenarios, it still has several gaps, and specifically CRM, specifically like more advanced workflows and task automation and lead scoring and things like that. Again, for like a basic workflows, for basic scenarios, it is very, very good tool to start with. Hope that gives you a bit of sense which direction to go if you are in front of your kind of decision process on which tool to choose. And as a final note, I would like to give you some kind of recommendation on how to move forward or where to start. And first of all, I think you need to start with understanding why do you need this marketing automation or automation in general, right? We have seen situations where customers come and say, hey, we need to implement the marketing automation. But when you ask them, what is your objective? What do you want to do with that? There is no clear answer. So I think you need to really think carefully and understand for yourself, why do I need and what exactly I want to automate? What I'm aiming with that? Is it like some manual process or what I would like to eliminate or optimize or anything else? And what are those typical scenarios? Among those what I already described, you can also find some additional, but think through what are your scenarios, what you would like to be covered and automated. And then build your requirements. So what exactly do you need? If you already have a CRM, then probably you are looking for a tool which is not necessarily includes the CRM. But maybe if you don't have a well-structured CRM, my recommendation would be to really considering having both marketing automation and CRM on the same platform, because that gives you a huge set of opportunities, especially on this alignment with your sales team and managing pipelines. And the second step would be really find somebody who understands deeply both like your business processes, what are your business aiming for, what is the environment, what are the typical scenarios, and can advise you how to make them even more efficient. But also they understand the marketing automation and capable of connecting that with all the rest of your infrastructure, because marketing automation cannot live just isolated, right? It needs to work with your CRM, with your CMS, with the reporting, maybe something else, and so on and so forth. And then, as Roland already mentioned during his slides, implement just like core workflows in the beginning. Don't rush to, trying automate everything. It will be very hard to achieve. Implement just a few workflows, see how it works, learn from that, and then scale. When we started our marketing automation journey, as I said, 6 years back, we were so optimistic, and there were so many mistakes, and only by doing that and seeing how it works, you can really find most optimal ways of implementing and maintaining it. Because with implementation, everything just starts. You also need to think how you will be maintaining that, who will be responsible in your organization for daily operations, and making sure that the processes are designed properly and supports your business scenarios. And if you are interested, we would like to propose you just a couple of options if you would be interested in our help. First of all, if you are already running your marketing automation, and we have seen that organizations started, but they have not reached most efficient usage of these platforms, and that is where we can help you by just assessing where you are currently and give you some maybe advice on what you can do differently, how you can improve that. If you are interested in that, you just can follow the link what Roland just posted and book a call with us, and we together with you will look at your current implementation and provide you some improvement recommendations. And for those who are just starting, we can help you with understanding those requirements, but also with planning those initial steps, like how exactly you need to plan that implementation of marketing automation. And for that, we have a workshop what you can join. And again, if you are interested, feel free to book a call with us. We will be happy to provide you more information and discuss further steps. I just would like to wish you great rest of the day, and I hope we will be talking to you soon on our next webinars. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye.